Trading has closed on June 20th, 2023. As always, we'll start with our disclaimer, go over our calls and make some predictions. I'm still having personal business. I'm just not having much time to do this work, so remember, any trade you make should be at your own risk. Remember, I can be completely wrong. Look for the pattern with the early low, which is this. Tomorrow should have the early high. We said the commonest thing with mixed signals was a gap and prompt move outside of Friday's range, which we got. We crossed a few of these targets off the list, 4402.15 and 4395.70. We still have this higher target, 4431.64. I said that if this is a major change in trend Friday, I'd be happier if that didn't print, since the system typically leaves a failed target at major changes in trend. So far that's playing out. We had support at this prior FOMC announcement price. We have resistance at the MEJT targets right there. When we break through support or break through resistance, I think it's going to tell us what the next move is. Early on, MEJT give a signal. On page 120 of my book, it says, before the end of tomorrow's trading, we're going to get a good rally. Now, as far as when it starts, the signal doesn't say when it starts. And as far as how good the rally is, when I wrote a book, I said 8 to 10 points, which at the time was about a 1% move. Well, 8 to 10 points isn't much right now, but that's what it says in the book, and we had 8 to 10 points here. We did get a good move later on, but the signal just doesn't trigger often enough for me to put a different number on it. But we did get a good rally. Early on, we got an ultimate sell signal in the morning. That played out. Optionally, we said we trade over this dashed line, and we did. In the afternoon, we got a signal to buy, but the minimum target printed immediately. There's resistance at the target. It looked like we were going to go higher, but so far we didn't. Well, that resistance is still holding. There's no guarantee it will, but I'm hoping it will, and that's last week's high. We gapped down, hit a lower low, closed over all the low. That's a positive pattern if it's maintained. If it's maintained, you should trade higher, but it's no guarantee that you close higher. And there's no guarantee it's even maintained, because all this rallying didn't accomplish anything. You're still backing and filling, and even though you couldn't add to these losses, you couldn't overtake any of these highs. And so far we're having a pattern of lower highs and lower lows, and that's not a good pattern. Well, tomorrow's pattern has the early high. Doesn't mean you won't gap down. Typically, it is a bullish day with a high in the final hour, but if it fails, it drops in a straight line. It's bullish, we gap down, hit a lower low, but closed over intraday lows. Unless we gap and promptly undercut the low a day, that should lead to higher prices. Doesn't mean you close higher. All this bullishness is tempered by the stall at the MEJT resistance and the inability of the day-long rally to close over intraday highs. So the odds have increased that last week's high is going to hold, and once we break through the FOMC announcement price of 43.7393 with conviction, not just a small blip like we had today, I think we'll see prices trade under 4,300 cash. But until we get that break, there's nothing to stop more backing and filling while not invalidating the sell-off that started last week. I mean, if we rally here, even if we hit this and don't take this out, it doesn't change the general picture. So the pattern tomorrow typically leads to a big move by Thursday's open, and most of the time it's a rally. But if it fails, it drops in a straight line, and until it's clear what the move is going to be, I don't think anybody has to risk money. For right now, I think there's a good chance this high holds, even though it isn't a guarantee. And once we break through this line by more than a little bit, I think we'll trade under 4,300, but until that break happens, I can't say we aren't going to consolidate some more. It's a pattern with the early high, and that's today's call.